After traveling back in time, Princess Zelda meets the first king of Hyrule, Rauru, and the queen, Sonia. She joins them to take on Demon King Ganondorf in a conflict that will come to be known as the Imprisoning War. Take on hordes of enemies as you fight alongside your allies. Like this brave Korok. Get familiar with your allies' abilities so you know which character to swap to in any situation. Zonai devices can bring water, wind, and other effects to combat. Make strategic use of them to counter your enemies and alter the flow of battle. Pair up with nearby allies to unleash mighty sync strikes.
What?
Depending on the pair, sync strikes can deal high damage
or
have a variety of other effects. Invite a friend to fight alongside you in split-screen co-op. And with Game Share, you can play together on 2 separate systems, even if only one player has the game. Uncover ancient truths that were only glimpsed in The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment launches on Nintendo Switch 2, November 6th. Pre-orders begin later today on Nintendo eShop.
Oh! Man, I don't know what else to say. There was so much good stuff, and I know that that YouTube is going to be full of videos and stuff now. People are going to be like, "Oh, here's a trailer analysis and all this." I might have to do another fucking trailer analysis theory video as well myself, but I mean, I could try to do a trailer analysis with you guys right now live. I'm thinking about it. Which probably also means I'm going to have to highlight this and then put it onto YouTube and be like, "Oh, here's a trailer analysis of the next Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment." They said that it would last an hour. Yeah, it lasted about an hour. Oh, man. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's coming out in November. Oh, fuck me.
Rider and Machine.
Oh, Age of Imprisonment's coming out in November? Oh, man. Okay. Okay, we got Ganondorf, and he already has the Malice and the Gloom, and he's able to summon out stuff, the Blood Moon. There was Zelda followed up by Rauru. Now we have all of the sages with Zelda. Zelda's hand, Rauru's hand, fusing together. That's the sync ability that we just saw. Them clasping the hands like that, that's the new sync ability. Which also means that, what do you call it? Zelda standing on Minaru's back there just a moment ago, that's also the sync ability. So that's 2 sages using their powers at once, which is Minaru using the soul separation. So if I had to take a guess, this is after Rauru has passed away and sealed Ganondorf, and Minaru has separated her soul from her body, but before Zelda swallows her stone. So this is quite literally after Rauru dies and Ganondorf is sealed, but before Zelda goes ahead and becomes the Light Dragon. This would have to be then during my theory where the ancient hero construct aspect comes to life, and Age of Imprisonment makes so much sense 1 and 2. Or this happens before Ganondorf is sealed and Minaru is off-screen somewhere. Rauru's castle, and that's the confirmation of where it was the whole time too, so there's the lead up. Shrine of Resurrection is right over here. Inside of this cave, right here, you can see it right there where my mouse is. That's the lead up to the castle, which means to get to the castle, you needed to use that side area behind the Temple of Time. More than likely, if not, you lead up to it.
After traveling back
Damn it. Did you forget to switch screens? Yes, I did. I am sorry. Let me go back. Okay, Ganondorf. Then we have Zelda, Rauru, Sages. That's the sync ability, them clasping the hands. Which also shows them using the sync ability here, and here, and here, and here. So 2 sages using powers at once. Rauru's Castle.
After traveling,
which, if you want to know where Rauru's Castle was, there's the Shrine of Resurrection over here. You can see the cave. And then there's the lead up that led to all those broken stairs and everything. So to get up to Rauru's Castle, you either need to go this way, or you need to use that archway over here behind the Temple of Time.
After traveling back in time, Princess Zelda meets the first king of Hyrule. Traveling back in time. Princess Zelda meets the first king of Hyrule. Traveling back in time. Princess Zelda meets the first king of Hyrule.
I'm just doing this for confirmation.
Princess Zelda meets the first king of Hyrule. Traveling.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Princess Zelda meets the first king of Hyrule.
Oh, the first king of Hyrule. The very first king of Hyrule, meaning, yes, he's the one that established the kingdom of Hyrule after the Interloper War, but before Minish Cap. Hot damn, I was correct.
Rauru and the Queen, Sonya.
Let's fucking go.
She joins them to take on Demon King Ganondorf in a conflict that will come to be known as the Imprisoning War. Take on
Oh, this looks so good.
hordes of enemies as you fight alongside your allies. Like this brave Korok. Get familiar with your allies' abilities so you know which character to swap to in any situation. Zonai devices can bring water, wind, and other effects to combat. Make strategic use of them to counter your enemies and alter the flow of battle. Pair up with nearby allies to unleash mighty sync strikes. Pair up with nearby allies to unleash mighty sync strikes.
That sync strike, that is the key to what made my recent theory make so much sense. So this is obviously going to need to be highlighted, cut, put onto YouTube as a Zelda theory trailer analysis, whatever the hell you want to call it. But when it comes to my theory of It Makes Sense 1 and 2, and also of the Interloper War theory that I just released, this is the fucking trailer to confirm it all. And that's why I don't make predictions anymore, because of how scary accurate it can be. Guys, there you go. Wait, that ginormous building over the Resurrection Shrine is Rauru's Castle. Yeah, because he's the first king of Hyrule. There was no kingdom before Skyward Sword, and there was no kingdom during Skyward Sword. Immediately after Skyward Sword, what happened? People started making settlements, but there was no kingdom. There was no royalty, and then bam, the Interloper War, aka the first war over dominion of the Sacred Realm, which led to the Interlopers becoming the Twili, the Temple of Time being created, so then the Triforce is sealed in the Sacred Realm, and the first kingdom established, i.e., King Rauru. Holy fuck, I was right. This is going to be an amazing game, and those fucking, Zelda tubers who say, Tears of the Kingdom is garbage and says that this game's going to be garbage, they could probably go fuck themselves with whatever they can find.
Get familiar with your allies' abilities.
Yeah, this totally looks awful. Oh my god. This badass lady that is in charge of the entire underground and can separate her soul from her body is able to freeze all of these demonic frogs underground in one fell swoop. Yeah, that looks like a terrible game. Get the fuck out of here.
So you know which character to swap to in any situation.
You know who you are.
Zonai devices can bring water, wind, and other effects to combat. Make strategic use of them to counter your enemies and alter the flow of battle.
So just like in Tears of the Kingdom, we see the effects of these Zonai devices being used in battle, like the fans and its air properties and the electricity being used to neutralize these goddamn Gibdo, just like in Tears of the Kingdom, but
Make strategic use of them to counter your enemies and alter the...
that's a sword, and it seems like it's using electrical or at least light power, because the only things that can really hurt a Gibdo is light, electricity, or fire. It seems like it's a light blade. Mix that with this fan, it's a light fan. Or at least electricity, because that's an electric transmitter. Oh, emitter, not transmitter.
To counter your enemies and alter the flow of battle.
Okay, electric emitter with a fan, electric wind, neutralize the Gibdo.
Pair up with nearby allies to unleash mighty sync strikes. Depending on the pair, sync strikes can deal high damage or have a variety of other effects.
I'm sorry, what is
Sync
this?
strikes can deal high damage or have a variety of other effects.
Let me go ahead and slow that down, just in case anybody's missing that.
Sync strikes can deal high damage or have a variety of other effects.
Wow, that's light and spirit together. And both Rauru and his older sister Minaru, the last two surviving Zonai, look a lot like goats. Light spirits. Goat, light spirits. And the spirit temple is under the province of Faron. Faron, the light spirits. These two are the only surviving Zonai of their entire race to disappear because of the Interloper War that happened before this. Hot damn, it's confirmed. It would make sense, being light. Isn't Zelda often the light sage, the light dragon? No, she's not the light sage. She's the light dragon, but what she is the goddess sage, which is a mixture of both light and time. It's furthermore evident because she's the eventual descendant of both Rauru and Sonia through bloodline connection. So that's why the goddess sage is always light and time together, not light itself. But because Zelda is basically a bloodline descendant of both Rauru and his wife, the first queen of Hyrule, Sonia, since they both would be the ancient ancestors of Zelda, that's why she can tap into both time via Sonia's bloodline lineage, via the goddess Hylia, and Rauru's for light. But in Twilight Princess, you have a fourth light spirit, Ordana the goat. I was right.
Invite a friend to fight alongside you in split-screen co-op.
This is beautiful.
And with Game Share, you can play together on two separate systems, even if only one player has the game.
Mrs.
You can
Oath?
play together on two separate systems, even if only one player has the game. You can play together on two separate systems, even if only one player has the game.
That's DS download play from the old days, where if someone doesn't have a game, they could still play with DS download play.
Uncover ancient...
Okay. Okay.
Player has the game.
I know what that was. This is the memory when Ganondorf first becomes the Demon King, summons the moon to become the Blood Moon, and then makes his army. So this right here with this Malice Pillar is shown in Tears of the Kingdom. It's the memory where Ganondorf says, "Rise, rise, my servants, sweep over this land of Hyrule, eliminate her allies, leave no survivors." That's what that is, right fucking there. Yep.
Uncover.
That's the Ring Ruins. If not, then that's the that's the Shrine of Awakening from Tears of the Kingdom. Who are you? There's our ancient construct hero. I'm pretty sure that's our ancient construct hero in the background. No, never mind. That's a regular dude. This lady, though, I feel like she might have some importance.
Uncover.
So this is either Ring Ruins or this is the Shrine of Awakening in Tears of the Kingdom.
Ancient truths that were only glimpsed in The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Hyrule.
Is that Rauru that just did that? Yeah, that's Rauru and Minaru together.
Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment launches on Nintendo Switch 2, November 6th.
Hey, Oaf, after Twilight Princess, when the mirror is destroyed, what becomes of the Twilight? That they still live in the Twilight realm? That the mirror is destroyed, that doesn't mean that they're destroyed. The mirror is a doorway from the light world, aka Earth, where Hyrule is stationed, because Hyrule is not the planet, Hyrule is the kingdom. It's the equivalency of saying Hyrule in this aspect is just a territory on a piece of land. It could be possible that the continent that the Kingdom of Hyrule is on is also called Hyrule, but what is known is the kingdom is called Hyrule. That's it. Not the Earth, not the continent, just the kingdom, not the entire country. So at that same point, the light world is all of reality that Hyrule is in. So like Earth, space, all of that other stuff. The Twilight Realm is the other half of that, which is like literally the non-light side, but that does not make it the Dark World. The Dark World is something completely different. I went a little bit into this with my latest theory, Rotus, so I would definitely check that out, but I'll have to go a deeper dive into this. But essentially, the Twilight Realm is its own reality, and the Mirror of Twilight is a door. The door was destroyed, so there's no way to get through it. Or is there?
Pre-orders begin later today on Nintendo eShop.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. But for Donkey Kong to get some love again, which it's not that. That's Dragon Quest. But no, we'll go back to Zelda real quick. So, see if I can find anything else out of the ordinary. Oh, that's Yule. That's not Yule Hylian. I thought for a moment it was, but it's not. So they still exist, and there might be a comeback of them, and maybe even... Well, Midna would be dead. Like, by this time, Midna would be dead. I mean, not by this time. Midna's not even alive at this time. What's very key to understand, Rotus, is the Twilight people are not immortal. So they still age, and they still live their lives. So, like, Midna can't come back in, like, the era of Tears of the Kingdom, because that's already a unknown amount of time ever since Twilight Princess. So whoever's in charge of the Twilight, throne at that point of Tears of the Kingdom is someone completely different we've never even known about. That's to say if the Twilight Kingdom is even still around. All of the Twilight people could still be alive, but their own monarchy could have crumbled. We just don't know. Realistically, though, I know that unless we have another game going within the time loop, I highly doubt we're going to be seeing the Twilight come back. So, no. But This person
Strikes can deal.
is not the Gerudo Sage. This is someone completely different. And I don't know who this is.
High damage, or have a variety of other effects. Strikes can deal high damage, or have a variety
Spirit,
of other effects.
light and spirit together. Light spirit. Rauru, a goat, the fourth light spirit. I'm not going to keep pushing this, but I think you guys kind of get the picture of where I'm going with this, that they're the last two survivors of the Zonai people. All of the Zonai vanished somehow, and Laurelian Historian and I covered this in our most recent Zelda podcast episode, the second episode of Deku Scrub Playground. We went a little bit more in depth with this, but the power of light and the power of spirit combined, making their own light spirit, while the other three light spirits were quite literally sages or dragon priests that swallowed their stones and then became both the light spirits from their own souls, and their bodies became the immortal dragon trio. I'm just sitting here like, that's almost like an inverted sync ability. This works. My theory might be correct.
Invite a friend to fight alongside you in split-screen co-op.
Because it's also the other thing of, why was the Temple of Time made? To literally be that safeguard, an extra step before entering the Sacred Realm. Why? Because of the Door of Time. You have to unlock that to pull the Master Sword inside of the Temple of Time. So, okay? And yes, the Temple of Time, after Age of Imprisonment, would go skyward with Zelda the Light Dragon. So the Hylian people that would come after Rauru, the people that Zelda herself established, because we also went over this in the first theory, the first podcast, Laurelian Historian and I went over. Essentially, to summarize, Rauru's Temple of Time never held the Master Sword because nobody knew where the Master Sword was. It was always hidden. The Broken Master Sword shows up around the same time that the ancient hero wakes up and pulls the actual Master Sword from Skyward Sword. That actual Master Sword eventually becomes the Broken Master Sword and will have to live through this moment again through its lifespan over and over and over. The Sword of Time bound to the chains of time. Haha. So it always confirmed that, you know, there was always two Master Swords. One in the sky out of reach with Zelda, and one that was always going through the hands of the heroes that would eventually become the one in the sky with Zelda. Like a bootstrap, right? Bootstrap paradox. But we also go into this, it's the founding, it's way after the Interloper War. We have light and spirit teaming up. This is all too good. This is not the Interloper War. This is the Imprisoning War. Don't get it twisted. But this is the war that would happen after the Interloper War, and the Temple of Time was made because of the Interloper War. The thing, though, is, how did the Master Sword get in the Temple of Time? That's the one question I personally have had for years. Who put the Master Sword in the Temple of fucking Time? And if Rauru's the one that made the Temple of Time, and that one is eventually sent up to the sky, and then the Hylians who now have to take the throne, also the crown, throne and crown together, Jesus Christ. The Hylian people who have to take the throne and the crown together also have to make a new Temple of Time, and have to make sure that the Sacred Realm is sealed, and put the Master Sword in that place. By the way, did anybody pick up on the fucking Zonai swirl on the Gerudo legs, by the way? No one? Because I've been staring at that. Okay. That's an actual Zonai swirl. Like, that's the perfect depiction of a Zonai swirl we've seen in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like a 1-to-1. That's the actual Zonai swirl right there on the leg. So, yeah, this was an amazing Nintendo Direct. And again, I'll probably be cutting this up, highlighting, and putting it onto YouTube for just the Zelda trailer analysis. Not much of a Zelda trailer analysis other than me looking at it here and there and being like, I know what's exactly going to happen in this game, and I already said what's going to happen in this game, but if you guys really want me to say what happens, Zelda shows up. It coincides with the memories we know from Tears of the Kingdom. It's the imprisoning war. But we're going to see the proof that Rauru was the fourth light spirit because of his sister, Minoru, who is the Sage of Spirit. He's the Sage of Light. This sync ability that's in the game, light spirit, boom, both the goat people turn into the light spirit Ordona, helping out the three light spirits to stop the interlopers, and that's what happened to the Zonai. Thus resulting in Rauru making the Temple of Time, making the Kingdom of Hyrule, marrying Sonia, and then a few years after that, boom, Zelda shows up, and then we have this game. I called it. That's the loop. Zelda from the future shows up here before the split in Ocarina of Time. This is even before Minish Cap. This is in the ancient era, and it all got wiped out before Minish Cap. All of these types of records were either buried underground, like we saw with Tears of the Kingdom, or they were just destroyed or lost to time and we never got to see them again. They became myths and fairy tales, as King Bosphoramos Rauru said. As King Rome Bosphoramos Hyrule said. Does that mean he's also one of those sages who was destroyed by Ganondorf in that attempt to seal him in the spirit realm? Does that mean he's also one of the sages who was destroyed by Ganondorf? What? The only sage that was killed... The only sage that was killed in Ganondorf's botched execution into the Twilight Realm after the events of Ocarina of Time, when the Hero of Time appeared in the Child Timeline, took the Ocarina of Time and fled the kingdom, so then Ganondorf could not enter the Sacred Realm. That's why Ganondorf was arrested and then sentenced to death, and the execution failed because the goddesses gave him the Triforce of Power, and then he was sent to the Twilight Realm. No, he killed the ancient Sage of Water. You want to know who that is? Because I could show you exactly who that is. Okay, there you go. There. That's what the Ancient Sage was. It's that Zora. But also, during the time of during the time of Ganondorf's botched execution, after Ocarina of Time, more than likely during the time of Majora's Mask, because if the young hero is not in the kingdom, that'd be the best time to kill Ganondorf or attempt to. So still, like, I don't know, 80 to 150 years, 80-150, somewhere in that time frame, before Twilight Princess, while the hero was in Termina, Ganondorf was caught, sentenced to death, and was not killed, this sage is already long dead. That was its spirit projecting itself from the sacred realm, and Ganondorf lurched forward, destroyed that apparition, but also killed that sage without even stepping into the sacred realm. Yeah, that's that person right there, the Zora sage, with the elephant mask from Tears of the Kingdom. That one. Because this happens way before Twilight Princess and all that stuff. But this event right here that we're seeing is happening before Ganondorf is sealed underground. Which, that's the key. Ganondorf was always sealed underground. Ganondorf never went into the sacred realm, ever. Ganondorf never touched the Triforce in his life. Ever. Let that sink in. How can a guy who's sealed underground for all of time be able to just walk into the sacred realm? He can't. He would have to make a phantom, a bunshin, a puppet. He would have to make another form of himself. One of my blood, to quote the cut content from Twilight Princess. I can go on and on. This has been my main thing for years. But the fact of the matter is, and I'm so passionate about that, is Ganondorf never walked into the sacred realm. His phantom did. The phantom touched the Triforce, and that's why it got corrupted. He never touched the Triforce. Meaning the Triforce was always sealed ever since the Interloper War. What we saw in A Link to the Past was just an apparition of Ganondorf. You know, Aghanim the Wizard, Ganon the Blue Pig Beast. Yeah, that wasn't ever real. That was never the real Ganondorf. Those were all puppets. Ganondorf never touched the Triforce. Ever. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize. But I had that realization a long time ago of, oh God, the Triforce has always been protected. Yeah. So Zelda is tapping into the full power of the Triforce in Breath of the Wild, but she doesn't hold the Triforce. No. She's the goddess reborn, the literal reincarnated holder of the Triforce, and she's tapping into its full power. But it's always been sealed. Ganondorf never touched it. Then who's the only people who could have touched it? Not Ganondorf, but the royal family bloodline of the goddess reborn. So the princesses of the past, some of them have actually touched it. Some of the heroes of the past actually touched the Triforce. Ganondorf, Dragmire, never touched the Triforce in his life, full stop. And that's the truth. Oh, but wait! How come Ganondorf has a fraction of, the Triforce of power if he never touched it? I don't know. Because whenever there's at least one wish used on the Triforce, it'll split. That's always been the prophecy. Whenever, it splits, then 3 virtues are given, and then those people are reincarnated with those virtues, thus so gone, given on. Not reincarnated, but their bloodline descendants would also get it. And you guys seeing the trend from what we got from Ocarina and Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, and A Link to the Past, Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and all that other shit is still holding strong today? It's because Ganondorf never touched the Triforce. The Triforce originated from within the Hero of Sky, as we saw, and the last person to ever wield it, or even wield the power of it, is the Princess of the Era of Wild and Tears. And then you sit here and you're like, wait a fucking second. She traveled all the way to the time of the first kingdom established. Yeah, right after the War of the Sacred Realm. The War for the Triforce. The Interloper War. She showed up right after that, guys. Who could tell Zelda where the Triforce is? Fucking Rauru. I think I fucking rest my case. So if Ganondorf never touched the Triforce, then what's his whole deal? Oh no, he wanted the Triforce, but he needed to at least get a key to unlock that door. What would that be? A secret stone. Then where's the Sacred Realm? Above the sky. How come? Well, in Tears of the Kingdom, when you pull the Master Sword from Zelda's skull, she sends you higher than you can even see, above the clouds, above the sky layer, to the Golden Land. Zelda, the Light Dragon, took you to the Sacred Realm in Tears of the Kingdom. That golden cloud area that you were at was the Sacred Realm when you pulled the Master Sword. Now tell me, guys, who's the one person that could tell Zelda where the Sacred Realm entrance is? Who? It's goddamn Rauru. And who else could be able to assist in that? Barash, Dinral, and Nadra, the three dragons, aka the three dragon priests, who also are the three light spirits. Those three light spirits / dragon priests would know Rauru. They would know Sonya. Sonya is the reincarnated bloodline and the descendant of Zelda from the sky. She would have to be the first one to do those fucking springs ever since Zelda of the Sky had to do them. She would know these protector of the springs, the dragon priests. The ones that have the armor that look just like the dragons. They're the ones that swallowed their sacred stones. They're the ones that turned into the immortal dragons with their bodies, but their souls became the light spirits. Guys, it's right there. It's been right in front of us the whole time. But again, this is just theorizing, speculation, and going based on all of the canon information they're giving to us today. Because, yeah, they already confirmed this is going to be canon.
After traveling back in time, Princess Zelda meets the first king of Hyrule, Rauru, and the queen, Sonya. Meets the first king of Hyrule, Rauru, and the queen, Sonya.
First king, first queen.
King of Hyrule, Rauru, and the queen, Sonya.
Meaning, no, this is not before Skyward Sword. This is after Skyward Sword. And this is after the Interloper War. How can you be so sure? www.zelda.com, ran by and owned by the Zelda team and Nintendo of Japan. Go to the About section, scroll all the way down to the timeline, and tell me where Establishment of the Kingdom is. There you go. You know what? I'll beat you guys to the punch.
She joins them to take on Demon King Ganondorf in a conflict that will come to be known as the Imprisoning War. Take on hordes of enemies as you fight alongside your allies. Like this brave Korok.
TheLegendOfZelda.com, the official website of the Legend of Zelda series, owned and operated by Nintendo and the Zelda team. Wow, we can't trust this. It's not like the people who made this series also made this fucking website. Yeah, we totally can't trust them. The Establishment of Hyrule Kingdom. The creation of the land and the sky, creation, aka the sealing of Null. We have the era of the goddess Hylia and the emergence of demise, the events of Skyward Sword, the sky era. People, not everyone from the sky, but a good portion of people come to the surface to live their lives. The rest of them live in the sky. The people who live in the sky lose connection with the people on the surface, and over time, they forget about each other. The people of the sky finally come down to the surface, and then there's a great deal of fucking turmoil because people don't trust these people of the sky. Even though they look like gods, they have these godly gifts called the Secret Stones, and these Secret Stones can help get into the Sacred Realm. The people who possess them are fucking sages, for God's sakes, with the same fucking goddamn abilities and elements. But it doesn't end there. Well, what is this? The Sacred Realm is sealed? Yeah, that's the Interloper War. and then the establishment of Hyrule Kingdom. So I have to go back and say this. What is this all about?
The first king of Hyrule, Rauru, and the queen, Sonia. After traveling back in time, Princess Zelda meets the first king of Hyrule, Rauru,
right here,
and the queen, Sonia. She joins them to take on Demon King Ganondorf in a conflict that will
nailed
be
it.
known as the Imprisoning War. Take on hordes of enemies as you fight alongside your allies. Like this brave Korok.
So, for even more clarification, here in this ancient era from creation all the way down, we're gonna go right here. The end of Skyward Sword and the Sky era all the way up to the era of prosperity. You want to know what this is? I'll make it even more simple. Oh god, I'm getting gassy. Ugh. Sorry about that. What this means is I was correct this whole time ever since the game came out in 2023. This, right here, the era of prosperity, the establishment of Hyrule Kingdom, right here, yeah. That's Age of Imprisonment. That's this upcoming game. Which means, yes, confirmed. Zelda shows up from the future to the distant past. Literally, future is like way up here. She shows up right here, becomes the Light Dragon, and goes through all of time to come as the Light Dragon out of reach. There. She comes back to the ancient past, goes forward. There was always two Master Swords from that point onwards. But right here, what's this, you ask? What's this that you're circling in blue? Oh, I don't know. This right here, the Era of Chaos, the fucking Sacred Realm is sealed. This is the Interloper War. So now I ask you this. Where did the Zoey show up? Here. After Skyward Sword. Not immediately after Skyward Sword, but a few hundred, maybe a couple thousand years after, when the time of settlement was happening. There was no kingdom. There was no royalty. There was no people to say, Your Highness. There were just settlements. And then, when the Zoey show up, about here, people don't like them, people don't trust them, and then thus causes a war, because they see these secret stones and think, oh, that can open up the Sacred Realm. There's the Interloper War. But wait, it doesn't just stop there, because then there's heavy losses of the Zoey people, but there needs to be a kingdom established and all this other stuff, and Rauru marries Sonia. Yeah, that happens here. So I tell you guys this. Right here, what I'm showing you here is what they just confirmed in today's trailer, and what I've been trying to say over my past 3 theory videos, maybe even more. To be honest, this goes as far back as the time loop that I was talking about back in 2023. So, with that I say, that's probably it for today. That was an amazing direct. That was some... That was damn good. That was damn good. There's a lot of stuff I can't wait for, and that I'm ready for. So keep you guys eyes out later on for more info. This trailer analysis will be highlighted and then probably uploaded either later today or whatever. I only slept for maybe an hour, 2 hours most last night, so I need to take a nap before I do anything later on. Peace out. Have a good one. Thanks for watching, lurking, listening, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Holy fuck, this was good.